Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tabula Rakshasa, the Lost Memory D&D one-shot series. I am hearing a thing. Mouse, I think I'm coming through your thing. That's all good.
I'm trying.
That's okay. It's okay. Let me know when you fix it and I'll unmute you. Just put a thumb up when you hear it. Okay, good. That's what happens live, everybody. So, I hope everyone's doing really well tonight. I am Angela. I am the story guide for this little adventure. And with me are 4 unsuspecting victims who do not know what they're in for. How are you doing, unsuspecting victims? Actually, completely voluntary suspecting victims.
Yeah, I volunteered for this.
We're all echoing.
We all are.
Are we? Hold on a second.
I realized it was not my computer that was
Hold
doing
on,
that. That was
hold
my
on,
phone.
hold on. Let me see what I can do. Hold on. Okay.
We love tech gremlins.
We do. We really do.
They're our favorite.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I fixed it. We shouldn't be doubled now.
Test.
Awesome.
Hooray.
Yay!
I fixed it. There's always little buttons. It's fine. So, how are you doing, totally suspecting voluntary victims?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's gonna be
I'm
amazing.
glad.
Me too. Yep.
I am very excited to be back.
Yes, those who have been through the gauntlet before kind of know what to expect now. And we shall be having a good time. Specifically, those of you who haven't seen the show before, this is a game in which the players, the players and the characters don't know who they are or what they're capable of doing. That means I have their character sheets. They don't know anything about their characters, and I have their 3rd level character sheets on my desk, and I can give them information. Specifically, if they want to do something during the game, please just ask me. This is a very rules light D&D game. It is not really intended for those of you who know every single rule. Well, actually, it's made for everybody, but those of you who might not know every single rule, that is okay. Let me know what you want to do, and I will guide you as best I can through what your character sheet allows you to do. The most important thing is, if I ask, what's your intent for what you're trying to do, I will, based on your answer, try to figure out, say you have magic powers or something. That is what I'll do my best to match up what you're trying to do, based on what you actually are capable of doing. In addition, just remember, you are in a selective memory loss situation. You don't know who you are, or what your background is, or what the situation is, but you do know that magic is real. That's not going to be a problem. Someday, maybe I won't make that caveat, but until that day, we won't worry about spending a half hour going, holy shit, magic's real, and dealing with that existential crisis.
That's a game for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a game for another day. So that is your job, is to have fun, use roleplay and guessing to try to, 1, navigate the situation I put you in, and 2, potentially guess, at least for bragging rights, what your ancestry is, what your class or subclass is, and maybe what your background is, because you all have those too. That's a lot of information, and you're of course more than welcome to make notes or not make notes. However you wish to play the game is entirely up to you. When I give you a dice roll request, it's mostly for the audience. When I say give me a stealth check, just roll a d20, tell me what the d20 is. If you start making notes and you have determined what your modifiers are, you can start just doing the math, and that's fine. But if you don't know, just tell me what it is on the die and I'll give you the math. That's the players' jobs. Now, Thank you, Liz. That's exactly what I was about to say. You caught me right at the right time. The audience, you have an option for something you can do. If you would like, you can donate to the game in order to prompt me to give a player of your choice a substantial hint about one of the aspects of their character. It will prompt kind of a story moment or something that will push the plot forward, and then the player will have that information. We've just kind of been saying $5. That's kind of what the default is. There's no limit, really. I'd say 5 or more. But make sure you let me know which player you would like on your comment when you go to our Streamlabs link. So that's where you make the note, and it'll show up on the screen, so we'll know who you pick. That is all the basics for the show, and that's because I completely went over all the other stuff. Again, if you haven't been here before, we are a member of the Nerdsmith Network. You can find more about us at nerdsmith.org or on Patreon, where you can follow and or support us at patreon.com/nerdsmith. And if you decide to do that, it'd be really amazing. We know it's just a click for you, but it means the world to us, even if you follow us. You get access to our bonus content and things that we put up on the Patreon. You'll get alerts, even if you're not a subscriber. We are also brought to you by some really incredible sponsors. World Anvil, which if you go check out our World Anvil link in the chat, you will find our homebrew world of Veil, which we use for a lot of shows and a lot of games that I run privately. It is very fun. We love putting new things in it, and over the next few weeks, you will see more stuff on it as I am organizing my DM notebook and trying to put some stuff up there that I haven't put up for reference. But it's also for your reference, so enjoy. We are also an affiliate of Hero Forge. Today is every Tuesday. If someone donates $100, I will cry, and then I'll let them see their character sheets. So it's also going to be a very short session if we do that. Actually, in this one, it might not actually be in this case, but we'll see. That's not an invitation, Thea. I do not want anyone donating money that they don't have or that they can't do without. That is one request we make as a caring network. We do not want to make people broke. We do appreciate the support, though. Hero Forge. It is Tuesday, which means it is Treasure Tuesday, which means Liz, I feel like you might need to like talk to somebody first.
Oh my god, Liz.
Anyway, Hero Forge is Treasure Tuesday. Every Tuesday, they have a new asset or feature on the site that allows you to make really kick-ass characters. And this week, there is a delightful little addition with some very nice wands. I'm very excited about a couple of them. One of them is gem encrusted, which definitely means Pibble's getting a new wand.
Pibble's getting a new wand.
Absolutely. It's going to be pink glitter. And we are going to... Oh, and the most important thing is a very, very big update has been done. And the 2 characters on one base feature has been brought to everybody. It is now a public. It is out of beta. So please, if you have even a free edition of Hero Forge and you're not a subscriber, check it out. They added cool shit. Cool. If you haven't done it before, it allows you to have 2 characters on one base. And not only that, people have been doing incredible things with the ability to do that, including overlaying characters, because sometimes you need to be able to make a character that's a little complicated and might require 2 layers of the same character. And it's very, very neat. So if you want to learn how to make new cool stuff, now is the time to go check it out, because you can even get access if it's free. So please check that out. And that is again at heroforge.com. And if you want to find out when new things come out, you can go to heroforge.com/treasure, and they put all the updates on Tuesdays, so you find out what it is.
And it
you
will show you when it goes public as well. If you scroll down to the bottom of the thing, it will tell you the dates for Pro and for everybody else.
The most important thing is that it doesn't go. You don't have to go like searching the user interface to find what's new. But we that is not the last thing. Finally, we are sponsored by Die Hard Dice. Die Hard Dice has partnered with us here at Nerdsmith to make an incredible polymer set of dice called Nerdsmith Forge Fire. We have our own dice, you guys. It's really, really pretty. They're lightweight polymer dice, but they are in a silver paint with our Nerdsmith orange as the lettering. They're really easy to read and they look really kick-ass. Franz, one of our Nerdsmith directors, said they look very metal when you actually look at them, so the paint job's great. And yeah, we've been hearing a lot of really good things about the dice set. People have been enjoying them, so please check them out. And we are Die Hard Dice is also doing their really kick-ass holiday sale right now. So if you haven't bought things for the Dice Dragon in your life, please check it out, because they have a lot of sales going on right now, and they are definitely worth checking out. And here is the link to our very special Forge Fire dice as part of the Dice Affiliate program. There's a bunch of Dice Affiliates that are working with Hero Forge, and there's some really cool dice sets. You should check them out, and you should check out the creators that they are associated with, because Die Hard Dice is discerning, and there are some really cool people that they work with. All right. Hey, treat yourself, Thea. So that's where we are. I think that's it. We're ready to go. Are you all ready? I mean,
Yep.
as ready as you can be. All right. We're going to get ready very soon. We'll see you in a second, and we'll get started. Prepare thyselves. And we're back. Okay. I didn't have you roll initiative.
Oh.
If you don't mind giving me a quick dice roll, so that it determines who goes first when they're introduced.
I low-key forgot to pull out dice, so
It's okay.
Oops.
17.
17 for Devin.
Are you a D20? You are.
Mine was a 19.
19 for
17
Lynn,
as
17
well.
for Alora. And Mouse, what'd you get?
A 9.
9. All right.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens. Let me put some better music on.
You telling me we don't get to be in Bridgerton world?
You kind of do. Just kidding. You all wake up at a table 4 points, 4 chairs. Very uncomfortable, stone, ornately carved. The table in front of you is beautiful marble with little patterns etched into it. You don't know how that is made. It's beautiful. And in front of each of you is a paper, relatively short, but very dense, very small print. And each of you is holding a pen, and you have a name scrawled on the bottom of the sheet. But more importantly, each of you are sitting across from 3 other people. Relatively young. You probably look like you're in your, if you're going to go with human years, look like your 20s, 30s. We start, in this case, with Lane. Everybody sees in the seat that Lane is sitting in one can only describe as absolutely gallant looking, off-white, almost, this off-white silken blouse with the poofy print sleeves, a blue vest with beautiful gold brocade all over it. They have a very sort of like chiseled, pretty jaw, very intense blue eyes, and it can only be described, as I said, as gallant. And let me find the picture because I forgot to put it in the sheet. It's the wrong picture. There we go. That's a bad size. You all see a very big face.
Oh God.
No, I'll fix it. It's fine. There it is. There's the face. And I will put it in the chat for everybody as well so that you can see it in the game. Handsome in a sort of androgynous sort of way. And they're sitting there with their hand on a piece of paper with a pen. And Lane, you see in front of you the name Lionel Bronze Dreamer.
Okay.
Written in very, very beautiful hand.
Uh-huh.
And we have Alora and Devin. Please give me another dice roll so we can break the tie.
17 again.
17 again.
13.
13. Okay, Devin.
Really wanted it to be 17 again. That was.
I know.
Fingers crossed. When
you all look to the seat that Devin is at, Devin is right next to Lane. You're spread out among this round table, but Devin is next to you. And very different energy coming off of this person. A dark black or brown, dark brown leather, almost like a turtleneck piece of armor going over a chainmail shirt. Olive skin, big sideburns, and this almost like pointed, like Wolfman kind of vibe. Brown hair pulled back in a ponytail and a tuft of white, like a shock of gray in front. And more importantly, his eyes are amber with very, very tiny pupils. Very intimidating, intense looking man. Devin, in front of you, you see the name Yezu. Just one word. Okay. At the seat where Alora's sitting, you see a small, very happy-looking person. She has pale skin. Her hair is black with a little shine of green to it, and she's got little fun buns on her hair. And she's wearing kind of a high-collared silk in like a coral, almost like a pink. And let's see, where is she? There she is. Let's see. And Alora, in front of you, you see the name with little eyes, with little hearts, but you don't have any eyes in your name. You see Selene Elderberry.
She's so cute.
And because Liz asked and I forgot to mention it, these are all done by an artist who very kindly let us use these. Erin Angioli. Erin is an incredible artist, and she is actually currently doing a giveaway for the art pack that this is all from. 145 character portraits that you can use in your games. We bought from her directly from her shop, which gives you streaming rights with these as well. So it's very, very cool. Oh, Retsev, thank you. Everyone will get a hint, and Mouse already earned another hint from you, so Mouse is getting two at some point. Let's talk about Mouse. You all see where Mouse is sitting, another intensely dark figure. Midnight blue skin, little horns coming out, multiple from almost like a little crown right on her forehead. Shaved on the sides and braided on the top, this kind of violet hair, and little sharp ears. She has what can only be described as resting fiend face, let's say. And at your page, in very severe but very neat print, or not print, but script, Mouse, you see the name Glenmenor Mistral Wraith.
I am very intense. Noted.
So, you all just finished signing your names onto the page, and there's nothing. You don't remember what the signing was. When you, the moment you finish signing and you sort of glance and you see the people at the table, all the pages roll into a scroll and disappear. The pens leave your hands.
Oh. I thought that was going to be one of those cool tricks where you get to like keep the pen afterwards. It's a novelty.
What? Okay.
So what do you do?
So this is like a weird dream, right? Everyone's kind of, yeah, like, I'm gonna wake up, and then she like pinches herself a little bit. No.
No, I think
Nope.
this is very, very real.
She pinches herself again.
Don't
Ow,
think that's gonna
no.
work, sweetie.
I think someone else has to pinch you. She reaches
the-
over and pinches her arm.
very you guys are you have to lean over a little bit. She's kind of
Yeah.
small. And you see in the room, I'll give you the room right now. So the beautiful stone marble table and your chairs are at the center of a round room. On the walls are several items. You see a series of banners that don't appear to have any symbols on them. They're just this sort of midnight blue color in various areas. You also see that there appears to be a coat check. There's like a little booth built into the wall. This is all stone, built into the wall with a little bell, and it looks like there is hanging equipment and clothing and other things in the back. You see there is a very large double door made of heavy wood on one side of the room. And you also see that there are sconces all circling almost in a spiral upwards, dozens and dozens and dozens of feet up into the air. And at the very top of this room, it's almost a tower, it's tall, you see glass in an ornate image of a crest and dragon wings.
Do I
There
have
also
any
appears to-
equipment
there also
on
appears to
me?
You do. Yezu, you have, it's so weird right out of the gate having your names already. But I forgot that this would make sense. I didn't forget. It just made sense that you would know them this time. You have, well, besides your armor that you're wearing, you've got a series of little bags, not bags, you have a bag with a series of scrolls and a couple of books. Let's see what else you got on you. You have a dagger on your belt. And oh, that's right. Right next to your desk, or right next to your chair, you have a lute. Beautiful. Made with dark wood, and has a let me see real quick. Has almost like smoke tendrils etched into it.
Okay. I also cut you off mid-sentence, so I want to make sure if there's anything else you were going to give to us from that description that I may have cut you off from.
Nope. No, you're good.
So, like, is anyone going to show up, or are we just sitting here? Are we free to go? Like, does anyone know what's going on?
Oh, you don't all have like instructions or something? No.
No, I think our instructions just went up in flames.
Is it possible for me to get out of the chair, or am I stuck
Yes,
in
you
the
may
chair?
get out of the chair.
Okay.
I
The
want to know,
implication-
Alora, or Syl, I suppose, Selene, was that intended to imply that you do have instructions? By saying you
know.
all don't have instructions? I was just checking.
I mean,
That's up to you. I just wanted to
no.
know.
I think she's assuming that they know what's going on. She doesn't.
Sure, that's fair. Okay. I was just curious.
Do I look like I would be here if I had?
I don't
Any
know
idea what
what
was
your
happening?
I don't know what your life is like. Like maybe.
I would like to go to the coat check and ring the bell.
Okay.
I will get up from the table without saying anything to anyone.
I feel like he looks like he knows what's going on, so she's gonna get up and follow.
All right, awesome.
She does one of those like little like literally like almost like an NPC skipping to their next
God.
destination in a video game, like very light on her feet.
Very good. So the two of you head to the coat check, and you ring the bell.
Yeah. You said there was like a little bell, right?
Yeah, it's a little ding ding, like ding, ding, sort of.
Yep.
Bellhop bell.
Yes, I will do that.
So, ding ding, and a pale, long, droopy-eared little goblin sort of pokes out from behind all the coats. I don't think you're supposed to go yet. And he kind of gets up to the table, or like walks up a couple stairs to get to the top, behind the counter. Allura, you definitely are like, yeah, you are most definitely, yeah, you walk through, you notice you're barefoot, and you have like cute little halfling hair on your feet, little tufts, and you're just like, the goblin looks at you, Selene, and nods, and then looks up at Yezu and is like, what can I do for you?
I'm not supposed to be leaving. What exactly am I supposed to be doing here?
Getting to know each other. It's ice breaking time. Do you need ice? I don't have any ice.
Wonderful.
Is there like a specific type of ice breaking we're supposed to be doing? Or do you...
I don't know. I'm just a co-check guy.
I check my pockets for a ticket, like a coat.
I do the same.
Okay. You check your pockets, and Selene, you find a whole bunch of stuff in your robes. You've got pockets for days. You find a bunch of ball bearings and a bell, and this weird little spiky little spiky diamond thing. You're just like, you also find this little rollout of a bunch of little tiny pieces of metal, and some of them are twisty, and some of them look like screwdrivers, and some of them look like little levers and stuff. You also find a couple knives.
How many knives?
1, 2, 3. And you also find a set of pipes. Little like pan pipes. They're very tiny. Like very tiny in metal.
Cute.
I think we're supposed to go and get to know each other. I say to, what is Allura's character's name again?
Selene.
Selene. And I walk back to the table and sit down.
I already got up and started looking at the banners on the wall while all of this was happening.
Okay.
Glenminor is just leaned back in the seat and just propped their feet up on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of watching everyone, but also kind of like glancing herself, trying to like she can immediately see. She's not digging quite yet.
Sure. One more time, you're looking like at what you have?
Yeah, looking at what I have.
Sorry. Okay. Let's see. There we go. You, Glenminor, have interesting. You have a bunch of you have like a thick leather scroll that when you like untie it and unroll it, you see that there are a bunch of pages that couldn't have fit in that roll. And once you unroll it, it's basically like a book, and you can flip through it, and it appears to be like what would essentially be a chemistry notebook. It has a lot of specific calculations and like chemical equations. It also has a couple of maps of the area of different areas that have labels on them for different types of flora that are around. You also find a crossbow and a short sword.
Well then. And she just kind of like settles in a little bit, like kind of taking in the mostly the chemical equations, kind of trying to see if that gives her anything.
Sure. Give me an Arcana roll with advantage.
Okay. 16.
16. Yeah, you find that it's very easy for you to pick up on what's going on in the books. Or in the notes. You have these appear to be notes for for somebody that would be looking into various alchemical recipes, things that have to do with memory recall and sort of focus and concentration stuff. Also things that have to do with there's distinctly a thread that seems to focus on how to extract truth from people. Different various experimental you think experimental, it sort of comes across that way to you, that it's a they're trying to put something together that would do those things. Right now they're like testing things out. And by them, I mean you. It's your stuff.
Hey, so the Goblin Man said that we are supposed to get to know each other. We could play Never Have I Ever. We could do Two Truths and a Lie.
What about show and tell?
Sure.
This one seems to have some interesting things in there on their person. I say to Glyn.
You can say Glyn. Glyn is fine.
Glyn.
Just shorten it.
She just looks up at him. And who says I want to show anything?
Well, I mean, you kind of already did. And she kind of sits up a little bit.
She's like moving the book or like the scroll higher.
I can jump really high.
Oh, you can.
You want to try?
Yes.
Okay, give me an athletics.
100%.
Give me an athletics roll.
13.
All right, so with your 13 total, you get a little bit of height. That's not too bad. Just like, but as you do that, you might see that there are actually like rungs on the stone on the chair. And if you just kind of try to finagle your way up to look, and say use acrobatics, a 13 lands you a 19, and you can definitely just climb up the back of the chair to get some height to look at the scroll that she's trying to get out of your view.
Oh, that has a lot of really interesting symbols on it. I can totally read everything.
I'm sure.
Should just say what it is already. She just gives really
Actually, now it occurs to me,
ignorant.
as you're looking at it, you have no fucking clue what it's written in, Selene. You...
Yeah, I can totally read it.
Uh-huh.
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 What's this?
Do you
one?
actually
Like,
want to try to
She's
read it, or
bullshitting
do
me.
you...
Can I make an insight check on
Absolutely. On who?
Selene? Yeah.
Sure. Selene, would you like to...
I'll go for the deception check, absolutely.
Okay, sure. So,
I got a 4, but I'm looking very inquisitive and smoky.
sure.
I got an 18.
So, Selene, with your 21
Nice.
deception and Yezu's 6 insight, still a positive number. She's real confident. Yezu. Selene, do you want to try to read what's on it? You see scribble basically, but you can like try to focus.
Yeah, I'd love to give it a shot at least.
Sure.
I jump again to try to get another look at it.
Mm-hmm.
What does this word say? Right here, and like points at like.
Sure.
That one says
You
the.
No. You genuinely are trying to read it, and your head kind of quirks to one side, and very instinctively, as if it's just natural to you, there's just some words that kind of mutter under your breath, and you just kind of blow at the scroll, and everything on the scroll becomes legible. You like touch the scroll and everything on it suddenly becomes legible. You still don't know what the fuck it's talking about, but it is totally legible to you. It talks about plants and poisons and something about the something about like the rate of decay of effectiveness on certain things, and you're just like I don't know.
Okay, that word right there says decay. Like, I don't know what kind of like fucked up shit you're into, but you know, like that's your thing. Really glad to have you here. That's good to know.
Oh, like no.
In my ever-increasing confusion, I'm going to take out the scrolls in my bag and see if they say, if I can understand them, say anything about decay in a similar way to the ones that Glenn has.
Okay. You pull out the you pull them out, and no, that is definitely not what's written in yours. In and you instinctively know what it says, but it's in a kind of weird cipher, kind of backwards, and like you instinctively understand that there's like some word substitution going on. It appears to be a list of names and a list of what you can only assume to be crimes. Or maybe just faux pas or secrets. So it says
funny.
like
Mine
it
have
says
nothing
like
to do with decay.
No, you see like Billion Westward was seen in the company of a married woman like 3 nights past, and spent his entire day's wages on a snail race gambling. The existence of said race is questionable.
Not the snails.
Is my name on this list anywhere?
No, your name is nowhere on this list.
Okay.
Okay, well, we know that I apparently like decay and other chemical things. What do you like, Shorty?
I like decay. Great.
Besides climbing on other people's chairs.
I mean, I wasn't on your chair. I just jumped from mine. It's not. My eyes are just better. Maybe you should get that checked out. So let's see. I like, and she starts like looking, she pulls out one of the knives and is looking in the reflection at herself. I like the color green. And
like knives.
Knives. I have 3 of them. They're really pointy. And my name is Sil. Nice to meet you all. I didn't catch your names.
That's because we didn't say them.
So we haven't said them yet.
Well, maybe you should. That is like half of getting to know someone.
And what's the other half?
What is your favorite color? How many knives do you have?
What's in your pockets?
What's in your pocket? Do you like the K?
Do you like decay? It's very
Okay.
good. So, do any of you introduce yourselves? That can be meta if you want.
I will simply say it's Yezu. And I'm going to pay attention to everyone's names that they give to see if they're on my list of criminals and faux pas.
Interesting.
Glenn looks at the other person who hasn't said much. Just kind of waits.
Lionel. That's my name. At least that's the name on the paper.
Glenn Minor.
Yeah, so you do see Glimminor's name on your list. It says, for a good time, contact Glimminor. Bring antacids.
On my paper, on my
On your
scroll,
paper.
right?
On your paper.
What the hell?
And there is what appears, I mean, it's not in the code, but what appears to be like a little skull that you drew next to it.
What do I have in my pockets, Angela?
I never thought you'd ask. Lionel, you are, you feel underneath your vest, or like your doublet, that there's definitely armor underneath, like plate.
Okay.
Like there's heavy armor
Okay.
underneath you.
Okay.
You also have a beautiful there's a beautiful shield resting next to your chair, as well as a long sword.
Okay.
And you have on your person a... see. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Good.
You have a ring on your hand that has a beautiful inlaid dragon on it in like violet. And you realize it's an amethyst, like it's an actual stone that the dragon is carved out of. It's beautiful.
Is there any iconography on anything else?
Not currently.
Okay.
No, there's nothing on you.
Cool.
But the shield also has the dragon.
Okay.
Not in amethyst, but in like that color.
Yeah, and that's okay, cool. Okay.
And as you all say your names, you hear kind of all around you a voice boom out. Finally, I never thought you'd actually like introduce yourselves. Well, if the getting to know and glad handing is over, I suppose we can get started. And the door like slowly opens, and in the very dead center of the door frame, where there's just a little bit of light behind him, there looks to be a hallway behind him, you see a very, very small dragon.
How small, Angela?
Like small size.
What
Like
color?
small. The dragon is a little on the, like, it's kind of on the goldish side, like goldy orange. But
Would
you
my
see,
would my character know the significance of that?
But I know the significance of that, given all of the dragon iconography all over my everything.
Sure, I will give you both can make a. I will give you both a. I'm gonna say dragons are magical creatures. I'm gonna say an Arcana check.
Okay.
19.
19.
7.
All right. 19 gives Yezu a 23, and Lonel with your 7, you get a 10.
Okay.
So, Lonel, this is not a purple dragon. You definitely know that. But you.
No cost.
You also note, though, that this creature appears to be fully grown.
Okay.
Does not appear to be a young dragon. Just small. You actually realize it's probably not a dragon, like in the traditional sense. It might be a drake, smaller. And you note that two things. There are sigils and runes etched, like glowing along its arms and its wings. It's got these little wings.
Interesting.
And it is also it's on its limbs, down its back. It's got some little red horns on the crown of its head. Devin, or rather, Yezu, you know immediately that this is a drake of some kind. You're not 100% sure what kind, because they specialize. Drakes have a tendency to acclimate to where they grow up or where they are raised or trained or whatever, and they take on that. So like there are some drakes that like to live in taverns. They're called ale drakes. Some of them live in graveyards. They're called coffin drakes. They just kind of settle where they are and specialize. Some of them are very intelligent and tend to do things. Let's see, and this is who you see. And the little drake walks forward, claws clicking against the stonework, and hops up with a little glide onto the table, takes a very proud stance, and you see it has a shield with a quill and a sword crossed over it, as like an emblem that they're wearing around their neck. And they kind of puffs his chest out to show it off and says, "Right, so the familiarities are done with, and we should get started."
So you have the instructions.
I
Great.
am the instructions, lass. So yes.
Yeah.
Lynn is still just sitting with her feet like up on the table, like just waiting.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Sorry.
It's okay.
There we go.
And the drake lifts his hand and bats it on the ground on the table a couple of times, and you hear a when it echoes through the room with a definitive authority. The deliberations will begin. You four have volunteered to act as judge and accused in this matter.
Accused of what?
How
That
can
will
we
be discussed in a moment. I need to go over the ground rules first. I am Rolls. I
How
am
do
the
you spell that?
Ralls. The matter of this agreement was under my jurisdiction. Therefore, the breaking of said contract is my purview. I will be overseeing, but you will be making the determination about what's going on in this case. You'll be presented with the facts. You will determine who is at fault, and you will determine the punishment required. A party has been wronged, and you will determine which one.
Out of the 4 of us?
The 4 of you will come to unanimous agreement about the nature of the case. Names and affiliations will be changed in the fact pattern to protect all involved. As I said, you have all agreed to act as judge and accused in this matter.
I'm
we
still
get, like-
confused about that, because how can we be judged and accused at the same time?
Do we get like a copy of the contract? Because I like to have my lawyer read everything before I agree to anything.
The little Drake cocks his head. My dear, you are your attorney in this case.
When did I pass the bar?
It is a very,
Sorry.
it's a
good
very high
question.
bar. It's a very high bar to pass. I'm sure it took you.
I told you I am good at jumping.
Anyway, the contracts you signed agreed to this fact, so questions will be limited, if you don't mind, to the nature of the case and any questions you have after it is described to you. The 4 of you will concur with each other, and when you've decided the results of the case, you let me know. I will be providing a bit of information, and then we'll be going on recess. You all may discuss while I am gone. When I come back, I will have another bit of your case to explain. You may ask questions, and I will leave. The fact pattern comes in pieces to make sure you don't get overwhelmed.
Fine.
If you're all prepared, as much as you will be, we can begin. And he kind of looks at all of you, kind of like waiting for some sort of indicator.
Yes, let's get this on with then.
Wait, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Can we have writing utensils and paper so we can take notes?
And the Drake gestures a little bit with its claw, and in front of you, you have some parchment scrolls and pencils.
Hell yeah.
Across the table. And the Drake raises his hand again, and another long scroll appears in his claws, and the runes start glowing a little bit along its body. They are in Draconic, and I believe Lonel can read Draconic. So,
They say.
they are, they basically say that it is this packed Drake's divinely ordained duty to oversee and guarantee the good faith of agreements and laws, and as well oversee any punishment or correction that must be taken if said agreements or pacts are broken by any party. It literally is like a business card. It says what his job is.
Okay.
Job, passion. Who knows?
Reason
Do
for
what you love and you
existence.
never work a day in your life.
Okay.
And the Drake rolls. By the authority granted to me in this case, I will be providing the following information. Party 1 and Party 2 were provided, or rather, Party 1 and Party 2 came into agreement on the allocation of certain goods acquired during a business transaction. These goods were of a less reputable origin. They were acquired by illegal means. Illegal in the region they were taken from. Party 1 claims that all goods were distributed equally. Party 2 claims that they were looks at the sheet. Shafted, quote, and proceeded to assault Party 1 over the ownership of said goods. Parties 1 and 2 were obtained by the authorities, rather detained by the authorities, and brought to confinement. After which they were brought before a judge. Well, they were brought under consideration by the judgery, and you, and that is what you are getting for now. End of fact pattern. You may ask your questions now. And he conjures an hourglass that starts dripping. You have you have 5 minutes to ask questions.
What kind of goods were they that were being acquired and distributed?
A combination of gold and privately owned materials, heirlooms and the like, as well as a kind of pulls out the sheet again and says, an orb of divination usage. Unidentified at the time of acquiring.
In the assault that Party 2 commenced, was Party 1 seriously injured? Like long-lasting injury?
Party 1 claims that the injuries the injuries observed by the clerics that were provided after their arrest, those injuries were caused by Party 2, they claim. A series of slashing damage with evidence of poison, as well as a not insignificant a bit of burning, fire burning. Party 2 had their own share of injuries, but that is not a question you've asked me.
What were the injuries obtained by Party 2?
Series of stab wounds near the back and shoulder area, as well as something about their brain was hurting. They were a little confused when they were brought in. My accent's going all over the place, Liz.
Who did the heirlooms originate from? Which party member?
Neither. The heirlooms were originated in the location that the crystal orb and the other goods were obtained. A second location.
How did they get their hands on said heirlooms?
Heirlooms were obtained via a clandestine effort to acquire said goods from the home of a third party.
Together?
Yes, all four together.
So they were stealing from a third party.
That is correct. Very observant.
Just clarifying.
You just see Syl writing feverishly throughout this whole thing. She's like, got it!
What
Let's
is
see.
it that you are asking us to determine? Who is responsible?
Which party is the wronged party?
Who is in which part?
Pardon?
Who is which party?
That would involve the identities of said members, and as I said,
You said to ask questions, so that is what I am doing.
identities have been expunged for the proceedings to proceed in good faith and fairly.
So we are to determine which party was wronged and what the punishment shall be.
Correct?
This was not on my bar exam.
The second party claimed they were sort of wrinkles their nose a bit shafted. What did they claim?
That magical hourglass makes a strange
Yeah.
noise.
Like, what does that beeping?
You may finish your question since you are halfway through it.
What did they claim? Like not being able to think of the word for this because I don't just want to say shafted again.
That is what it was said.
It was in the statement. It was in the fact pattern.
Yeah,
I put it in quotes and everything.
of course you did. What did they claim was
Fair compensation? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's... Yeah.
The agreed upon payment was the equal distribution of the valuables that were found. They claim that includes fair access and usage of said divination tool. And that they were not provided with that. Party 1 insists that the crystal that was acquired is outside of the agreement. It was a additional item that was found. and therefore they're under no obligation to share it. End of questions. I'll be back. And the scroll goes up, and the little pack drake Rawls flies out of the room, and the doors shut.
As soon as the doors shut, Syl just slaps the table where the paper is and turns it around. I'm putting all of the notes in our chat. All grammatical errors and misspelling of words is accurate. Please
Intentional?
enjoy it. No, I just was typing quickly.
Oh, that's fine. So the sand timer remains, and it turns again, going a little slower than before. We'll say half as slow, so 10 minutes.
So we have two parties arguing over loot. Somebody wasn't given their share, and they were unhappy about it. I personally see nothing wrong with that.
Of course you don't.
What is that supposed to mean?
Was you? No, I don't know. Okay, so I mean, we pretty much have everything that was said on here. I'm sorry, this word is spelled wrong. But they were all stealing items from the third party. So, truthfully, aren't they all, like, at fault?
I agree, but I don't think that's what they want us to
No.
answer.
That's not what they're worried about.
Okay.
I mean, I guess think about it this way. If you were supposed to get your share and you didn't, what would you do?
I suppose it depends on what it was.
Well, in this case, gold, heirlooms, and a very powerful magical item.
I mean, 3 daggers is a lot. I don't think I need that many more. So, like, I don't need the gold to buy those.
The problem is that they can't have equally shared the use of the divination tool, the orb.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be an impossible
not?
equal distribution in the first place.
Right,
Did-
but
Didn't
the
the dragons say that that was an item they weren't expecting to find?
and it was
What were they
unidentified
expecting to
after
find?
or before the allocation, I think, or after.
The agreement was to split everything that they found. Did they know what they were going to find? Or it seems like this was an item they weren't expecting to find, or at least one of the groups wasn't expecting to find.
But I also don't see how you can't share the orb. I mean, it's essentially like taking turns. One person uses it one day, the next person uses it the next day.
That's
Now-
assuming that the two parties are friends
Yeah.
or would spend any time with each other beyond this pilfering that took place.
May I make a general arcana or intelligence check just to see if I understand anything about divination in general?
Sure,
what
go
that
ahead and give me an arcana check.
8.
8, 9.
Cool.
So, you know that divination has to do with seeing past the obvious, seeing into the, either seeing into the truth of matters or seeing into the flow of time. It's finding truth beyond what the normal observations of a person can determine.
Can I make some kind of check to discern how valuable both monetarily, but also just like, I keep thinking like use-wise, but like, how valuable is this orb? Both like if someone were to sell it versus like how badly would someone want it, essentially.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a Give me an investigation check.
11.
Add a d4.
They're all at the no, there's one. They're not all at the bottom for once. 3. So
Okay.
it's 14 total.
Okay, 14. With a 14 and so a 15 total investigation. I'm gonna retcon a little bit and say that you were given an image of this orb.
Okay.
It is beautifully perfect sphere. It appears to be about the size that someone would hold in their whole palm, and with very, very little imperfection to it. There is almost no cracking or quartz inside. Like, it's almost perfect. You would think that this is an incredibly expensive. If it was just a crystal, it would be incredibly expensive. But it is. You don't know the nature of the magic item, but the crystal itself easily worth triple digits, like high triple digits in gold.
Lovely.
So my thought is that do you relay this information?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So my thought is that the second party couldn't use like the mechanical benefits of the orb, and so instead they decided that they wanted to sell it, but party one wasn't like big on that. I mean, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but that is my take on it. Because it did say, and she like if anybody has the paper, she like reaches across the table, pulls it out of their hand, and turns it over and like scans it a little bit. It says here that party 2 had like their heads hurt, and like at first I thought it was because they got bonked, but now I'm thinking that maybe they used the orb against them, and so like I mean they could have hit them with the orb too. That is very possible, but yeah, and so like they got their use out of it. So it sounds like, in my mind, party 1 is at fault as of right now. And she's
agree.
at the table.
Part 2 and party trying to take on Alora's accent. To me, party 1 also sounds like they stopped it all by not doing correct distribution, but
the means at which they acquired the goods was illegitimate, but the fact that it was an unfair distribution seems to be something we can agree on, given the value of this item.
I guess the other side of it, too, is that the item wasn't identified prior to the distribution. So like it is like one of those stall sales. So like if somebody doesn't like come collect their shit after a while, you can like put up a price and you might get like a really nice carriage and horse or something, or it could be like somebody's really crusty old jeans or something. So like you're kind of going 50-50, you know? So like we also have to take into consideration that they must not know like what they were like they didn't know what they were getting their hands into, but they already had divided the items, so therefore the contract was completed. So I mean, and to play devil's advocate.
Just as a reminder, you'll be able to ask more questions when he comes back with the next section of the fact pattern. Around that time, as you're talking, you see the sand, and the door starts opening again, and the little pack drake, Rawls, is already trotting forward into the room. Well, hope that was very illuminating for you. He flies up onto the table. Now, don't tell me what's on your minds, in terms of final decisions. You're not nearly near the final. But second section of the fact pattern. One reason for the assault on Party 1 was due to the fact that one member of Party 2 came from the home estate that was belonging to the third party. Their claim on the magic item was familial in nature. They decided to take on the role of wronged party to make a claim for the item that was not included in the contract. Rather, the item that was not explicitly mentioned in the contract. They insist that it is part of it, and that they have a rightful claim to it. You may ask questions. And the 5-minute timer goes on again.
Were there strict outlines of what was to be distributed, or was it only said that the items that they found would be equally distributed? And if it was that, was it by worth, or was it just by amount?
The contract specifically said that the wealth found in the party's home, in the third party's home, would be evenly distributed between the two factions.
Did the member of Party 2 know that they were going to be stealing from a place of familial origin?
And the Drake pauses for a second, like he doesn't know that answer. One moment. And he kind of like puts his hand off to the side and like whispers a little bit. Party 2 was aware of the agreement and the location, was aware of the ownership of the home. Yes.
Can I make a perception check to try to hear what was said?
You may.
I want to try something. So one of the things in my equipment is a lute. I'm just throwing it out that I may be a bard. Can I attempt to inspire my ally here?
Hold on. Let me see.
Hell yeah.
Okay. You may... Yes, you may. You may go ahead, and so you pick up your lute, and you're just kind of casually playing a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm like kind of like going like this, like to Alora's character to try to listen in on this conversation.
So still you hear Yezu playing very beautifully in a minor key, which feels very correct for him. And you are sort of stirred by the almost sinister way he's playing, but it does give you this feeling of like treading lightly, being careful, being very conscientious to determine what's really happening. It's very like espionage music.
Drowning pool starts playing somewhere.
And you may roll your perception check.
It was a 16.
Okay.
And then you have an inspiration die too.
You do.
Right?
It is
so you could use that if you choose to.
Yeah, your inspiration die is a d6.
Okay. Did I have a bonus to anything on that?
I'll give it to you after the d6. You give me the whole total of the dice rolls, and I'll give you the... You don't want to use the d6, or you want to...
I wasn't sure. I wanted to see how much I got.
What did you roll total?
16.
That's a 19 on your
19.
perception.
I might save it, if that's true.
Yeah.
That was more than I was anticipating,
So, you are, you're trying to listen to what he's saying. You hear him word for word repeating what the question was.
Okay.
Okay. And then he goes back. You just hear him repeating the question and then getting back to you.
I can't hear the other side.
No. In addition to the because it's just a general perception check, I'll say. In addition to hearing what he's saying, he seems to be casting something when he does that. So no, you do not hear the other side of a conversation.
Okay.
Any other questions?
What was the relation to the familial member? Like,
Parent.
that's
Owning the
fucked
house.
up.
Interesting.
What was the relationship between the two parties, the two groups?
The two factions at question were members of two different interested parties. The first members were looking for acquiring wealth and valuables from the neighborhood of that place, and party two was seeking recompense for being removed from said household. Some sort of social shaming. Are those all the questions? As he sees some of the grains, like, just near the bottom. Probably have enough time for one more question. If you have.
I can't think of
I can't think of it.
I've been like racking my brain.
It's okay.
Like what?
Does party two, that's the familial member, do they feel like they received recompense for stealing said item? Do they feel like they got justice?
That is not considered germane to the disagreement.
What does that word mean?
Relevant.
Relevant.
They say it at the same time. The dragon and Lionel say it at the same time.
Oh, we know who the smart one of the party is.
Bold words for somebody who only with 0 daggers.
Glenminor, you get this. Sorry, this little smirk on your face, and you hear in the back of your head, "Oh, you are wicked, aren't you?" And that's all you hear.
You'll just see her stop. She doesn't say anything else. She's just glancing around.
You okay over there?
Yeah, just itching my ear. Sorry.
Well,
Lionel looks at everybody and then back at the dragon, assuming he's gonna leave again.
Recess. And he trots off. The hourglass flips again. Sands drop.
Does anyone
I don't
carry
believe.
anything?
Everybody talked at once. Let's break that down.
You
a
were
little
talking
bit.
at the same time, so I didn't hear what either of you said.
Glenn just kind of. Is anyone curious where he's going during all this?
I think he likes just making a dramatic entrance every time. Oh, here are the notes. She flips the paper again.
Is it just on the other side of the paper?
No, it's on the same side.
Okay.
Very economical.
I don't think this changes what we discussed earlier.
I don't think so either. But hear me out. I've got a theory.
Go ahead, Alora.
Share your theory.
I think the Drake or the dragon, whatever his name is, Rawls, I think he's in on it. I think he's the one that got stolen from, and he's just making us play out this little fantasy of his to accuse whomever, and so he doesn't feel guilty about like sending somebody to jail or even death.
That's a lovely theory, but
I love your brain.
that's a real lovely idea, but
No, that is not lovely. That is fucked up.
it's not. Pack Drakes, that's like, this is literally their entire shtick. Like, they exist to.
But that does not mean that they can't have malicious intent.
No, I see your hand raised, Mouse.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, as they're talking, they just see Glenn get up and just start circling the room, and she is just actively like looking up and around. That voice.
Cut out, but I think I know what you were going for.
If you are looking for God, I don't think you're going to find him in this place.
I don't think she's looking for
Gosh.
God. I think
You
she's
have
looking
that.
for a
You say
way
that
out.
with a knife in your hand too.
I'm not looking for God.
She's looking for a way
Something
out.
else. No, well, yes.
Would I know if this is standard judicial procedure in this world to have a Drake come in and give people information? And is this regular procedure, or is this unusual?
weird.
Or would
Yeah.
I have not known this and this is just lost to my memory?
Give me a history check.
14.
14. Yezu, 18. It is, there's lots of ways that people do judicial proceedings. This isn't like one of the most common off the top of your head, but the idea of trying to make a judgment about something that happened while trying to focus purely on the facts of the case and not necessarily having all the information about your person, like that's a general principle of trying to be impartial. So it's just kind of an unusual way to go about it.
Okay.
And you know that pact drakes are specifically bound to enforce agreements that are made. Like they're usually used as witnesses or notaries or things like that.
I don't think that the Drake is involved insofar as, and I'm saying this to Selene, I think he's simply doing his job. I don't think he's involved as much as you're suggesting that he may be.
But that is what he wants you to think.
Well, he must be very convincing then.
As Glenn is walking around, she's gonna shuffle in her bag and see if she has anything that will like slide under the door.
Okay.
Like that is like small that she can just like push it under the door.
Sure. So Glenn, you're looking through your stuff, and you find a bunch of alchemical supplies and glassware and different things. Hey Raiders, welcome Magic Fish Radio. You find a bunch of little bottles and with various types of liquids in them, or little herbs and things all mixed in. You also find a beautiful ceremonial knife that has a groove down the center of it, as well as some almost veining etched into the blade a little bit. But it's coming from a way of almost like the tip of the blade, and then the veining is coming from the tip of the blade through these little, let's be honest, it's a blood groove in the center of this beautiful dagger. And
She's looking at yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, what are you doing with it when you
She's
find that?
looking at it, and then she just quickly turns to the group. So you'll remember that the Drake said that we were judged and accused.
Yeah.
Y'all like, I don't know. Do you think this could be about us? Crazy idea.
He starts going.
I start undoing like the button of my like shirt collar and start like pulling up my sleeve to see if I have any like scars or marks or anything that match what we were told.
Mm-hmm.
And she just moves over and like very carefully like just dagger on the table.
Lionel, you start unbuttoning your sleeve. There's a lot of fucking buttons.
Yes,
it's like, God
takes
damn
a
it.
minute.
It's like buttoned all the way up. And you pull your sleeve back, and you see old healed scarring all along your wrist. It looks to be like it might have been magically healed, but it's sort of it's scarred over. You check your other sleeve. You've got a couple burn marks and some scrapes and things. You do have a very you seem to have lived a very adventurous or exciting life.
Yeah.
Nothing that you can overtly, give me a medicine check.
16.
19. Not bad, not bad. It is hard to determine based on something being scarred over, especially given that magic can sometimes make it scar over in a way that looks older. it is hard to tell if something is fresh or not.
Okay.
Based on that. Selene?
So according to the paper, it says the stab wounds are located on the back and the shoulder, as well as there were some burn marks to party 1. Does anybody feel like their head hurts? That could be an indicator.
My head hurt.
Does your head hurt? Yezu, I mean, let me see, actually.
There was also like poison, so if like anybody feels like they couldn't, like they might be coughing a little, could be
Excuse me, just don't worry about that.
Yeah. What's my
Anyway, if anyone's
general
coughing.
state of wellness? like how am I feeling?
I mean, you all feel fine. You don't feel like you've sustained any recent injuries, and at least anything that hasn't been hasn't been tended to without your knowledge at this point. You will remember that clerics were sent to see to them.
Still is gonna start looking, or rather, she's going to attempt to look at like the back of her shoulder, and back. It's not gonna be very successful, but she like.
Can I?
You do
Take
have a
my
mirror in your equipment.
I was gonna say if someone doesn't have a mirror, I was gonna offer my giant fucking shield that's made of metal to also use as a mirror if she wanted. It's probably as big as she is, but
Sil, give me a sleight of hand check. You're trying to like get the angle just right.
Was one of the things that they taught us at bar school.
I don't.
14.
I think that's a different kind of.
Yeah.
With an 18, you're able to turn. You look around, you look behind, and you do not appear to have any scarring on the back of your neck, but you do appear to have a tattoo on the back of your neck. Like a little bit down. It is let me double check.
I'm badass when I have thoughts.
It is an ear, like
An ear.
like a really low poly version of an ear, like a couple of very simple lines. And then inside the ear, what would be the ear on the inside, you see it's a little abstract, but it kind of looks like an eye.
Hear me out. Hear me out. I see what you did there.
You take 16 psychic damage.
Okay, well, am I down?
It's out.
No, actually.
But I mean, Scar's not.
Does anybody else have a dope tattoo? Or is it just me?
Anyone looking for dope tattoos?
I
I
mean,
mean, I'll
We'll do
look
a
at the
general
back of my
search
neck.
of
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
person.
think at this point,
everyone's trying to like.
Just looking for dope tattoos. I mean, just
Specifically, she's
like, hey,
going to
check
hand
me.
her mirror to Yezu because he's been the least mean to her the whole time.
Cool.
so Yezu, you have a mirror. You want to check for tattoos?
Yeah.
I'll use my shield and see if I can look at the back of my neck.
Okay. You, Lionel, you do not see any scar, or rather, you do not see any tattoos in the back of your neck, but you do see more of these old scars, these old healed over scars. There are basically from any kind of damage you can think. Like there's slashing marks, there's a couple of bite marks.
Oh God.
But yeah, it just looks like you've seen a lot of action.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I laughed in my head too. Listen, they're very handsome. Anyway, Yezu, you You do see a tattoo, but it's not behind your neck. It's on your shoulder blade.
Is it an ear with an eyeball in it?
It is not an ear with an eyeball.
An eye with an ear in it.
No, it's neither of those body parts. It is a it looks like some sort of very intended, like very intentional, like animal slash done in red ink.
That is dope.
I was neutered. No, I'm kidding.
No, that would have been a clip in your ear. Your ears are
Right.
intact.
Do I have any recollection of what either of these tattoos mean?
Give me a history check.
Can I also make a
Natural 20.
Natural 20, so 21. Yes, Celine, you can make a history check.
13.
13. Sil history is a 14. So I would say, well, for both of you, there is a distinct foggy block
Okay.
when you're trying to figure out what these are. Almost like things having to do with you are and each other are being masked.
Mhm.
So any specifics you're not quite sure about. I would say for Lonel though, you have a sense that, you have a sense that that would probably be the meaning of said tattoo probably has to do with being conscious of the world around you, keeping your eyes open, keeping your ears peeled, the idea of understanding and knowledge, maybe more on like a personal level though, rather than an academic level.
Okay.
Could be anything from espionage to thievery to like secret society kind of shit. Sil?
While everyone else is looking for tattoos on their bodies, I would like to go near the door where the Drake makes his dramatic entrance every time and start just laying out several scatters of ball bearings in front of it.
I just imagine just putting it down,
Visually
trying to keep it
placing
from
ball bearings.
rolling, and then putting the next one down, trying to keep it from rolling.
That's exactly the image I had.
Do you do it in any particular pattern? Or just...
No, she's just trying to do it so like she's trying to do it inconspicuously.
So you're not writing. So you're not writing "made you look" on ball bearings on the door. Okay, that's great. Give me another sleight of hand as you try to do that.
Natural 20, 24.
24. Yeah, just not even making a reverberation. You are so light on your feet that you're just. You shift over. They don't even notice that you're doing it. Like you just go over and you're just so quiet. None of the ball bearings roll. I love nat 20s on the lowest stake things. It's my favorite thing.
You just do something super mundane really, really, really well.
Yeah. She's just gonna go sit back down in her chair afterward.
After everybody's kind of checked for tattoos, Glenn
I
does go back
have
to her
something for
seat.
yours, Glenn.
Okay.
You haven't looked and I hadn't mentioned it.
Yeah,
you don't find anything on the back of your neck, but you do find a couple of tattoos going down your arms. They are red lines going down and like dotting at your pulse points. On both sides of your arms.
She just kind of makes a note of that, goes and sits down, and in her head, she thinks, do you know what's going on here?
Maybe.
Are you allowed to tell me, or am I supposed to figure this out?
Allowed? That's a tricky thing. Who would be giving me permission, then? But no, I'm not telling you anything. This is too fun.
Of course it is. Do you only talk to me, or do you talk to anyone else?
Don't be jealous.
You'll just see this, like, slightly annoyed, but, like, a mild grin. Just, like, that... just slide across her face for a second.
Are you there, God? It's me.
Well...
Glenn Manor.
At this point, she is speaking out loud, and she's like, so, are we still going with our initial assumption that Party 1 is to blame for this? Or does recent potential understanding change anything?
I guess, like, there's, like I said before, there is also, like, the argument to be made that they said that it would be distributed evenly, and since the item was not identified previously to the distribution, technically the goods were distributed evenly. So the agreement and the contract was abided by.
So now we're saying that Party 2 is at fault for attacking for no good reason.
I mean, considering that they got a fuck ton of gold in the mix, they could have just tried to buy it off of them instead of stabbing them. You
But,
know,
I mean, if you
my uncle used to say that you shouldn't stab somebody for no good reason. You have to have, like, a valid reason for it. And if you do, then you can stab them twice.
Give me a deception check. You don't know who your fucking uncle is.
19.
It would seem that if we're arguing that
22.
the Party 2 claims that the item in question would belong to them, since the person they're stealing from is family, they claim ownership of it regardless. If you go that route.
That is a really good point. I didn't think of
And
that.
it also would seem to me that...
But is it because it is an heirloom, is it technically theirs, though?
Doesn't make a difference to me.
No, it doesn't make a difference in this situation.
They knew what they were walking into.
It seems to me that Party 1 was simply looking to steal from a particular area, not a particular person. Party 2 was looking to specifically take from their family. Something happened where they interacted with each other and made this contract.
That raises the question.
Not all information was shared between the two parties.
Yeah,
And
that raises the question, did the Party 2 members know what the orb did? And so when it didn't end up in their spoils, they got mad about it.
And then
even so, that's still... the original premise still remains to me. that it wasn't split fairly.
We should ask how the spoils were divided. Like, was it just like luck of the draw, or was it like, I want this, you can have that kind of thing? Like, it was a itemized list.
If I recall correctly, Party 1 did not factor the orb into the split.
No.
Can confirm.
Okay. That will be the next question.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting good. This is like one of those like really like penny novels that you can buy. That's really good.
About around the time you all kind of came to this conclusion, and you're like, okay, we better decide. And you see the sand go down. You hear a door opens in, and several of the ball bearings are shoved. Not all of them, though, just a few on the outskirts. And just as the door's opening, the Drake is already trotting into the room. Didn't even stop.
Oh no.
And we're gonna see if he notices. He all right, so we're gonna and he catches himself on one foot, and you just see a bunch of the ball bearings roll away. Just his little eyes kind of bugging out a little bit, scanning the four of you.
Well, I wish I would have thought of that.
Kind of tries to pretend like it didn't happen. Final consideration of the fact pattern. The party at fault, when it is determined, will be stripped of all lands and titles, as well as all wealth given to the other party. That is the proposal. You may decide if that is appropriate, but you must decide on a commensurate punishment. Something reasonable to the party who was wronged. You may ask your questions.
How was the loot to be distributed? Is it by luck, or did they have a plan?
The gold and valuables that were found were decided upon in a draft form. Each person took turns. The gold was distributed evenly, but all valuables were assessed for approximate value and offered as choice. Each member chose their items. The item in conflict was not brought into the collection and was discovered after the valuables had been distributed.
How was that discovery made?
Snooping. Quote.
Was one of the party... Which of the parties was snooping on who?
Party 2 got an inkling that Party 1 was withholding something. They were acting shifty and not doing a very good job of hiding it.
So Party 1. Also, I have a question.
Yes.
Do either of the parties have lands and titles? And if so, which ones?
Party 2 has lands and titles inherited both members. The other members have not inconsiderable private property that would be leveraged as payment for damages incurred. It wouldn't be a punishment if it didn't hurt a little.
Makes sense.
It was thought so, yes.
Which party asked for this trial to be held, I guess?
No one asked for it. It was previously agreed upon when the contract was signed. It's a stipulation of any contracts that I oversee that a arbitration be reached.
So you knew about this whole ordeal. You knew about the contract of the loot.
I was aware of the agreement and its details, yes, but I had little else to do with it other than the original agreement as it was made.
Aren't you like a mandated reporter? Like if a crime is reported to you, you have to report something.
I'm not a cop. I don't have to tell you if I'm a cop or something. I was brought on by the two parties in question as a unbiased observer of their agreement. I do not know if one or the other suggested my acquirement, but I was acquired nonetheless. And I will do as what is my duty. I am going into your accent, Laura.
I know, I keep doing it.
It's happening.
How much did they pay you?
I am not paid to do my duty. It is, well, no, that's not true. I take that back. Angela takes that back. I didn't think about it. I thought about it too fast. I was paid through, Angela is looking at her notes.
This was the question that stumped it.
Uh-huh.
Dun dun dun.
There are various reasons. In this particular agreement, I was provided the promise of a promise of service in the future as to a particular personal matter.
Oh. So your network got it.
My payment is not germane to this particular
Well,
adjudication.
I mean, seeing as how the parties sought you out prior to this whole ordeal and everything, and you oversaw the distribution to a degree, like the idea of the contract being drawn up, that I feel like is very, very relevant to the situation, especially if they didn't pay it up front, which I don't know, which is my next question now. But if they didn't, and one of the parties gets the outcome and then you don't get paid, what does that say?
Just puts their hands in their face as she keeps talking. I'm thinking she's just gonna use up all the time just by talking.
You have enough time for one more question. I was
pretty much an agreement anyway.
Paid beforehand full, and this all happened as this particular adjudication is due to the fact that the contract was broken.
I have one final question.
Yes.
Do we have the ultimate say on the punishment, or do we just give a recommendation?
You have final agreement. It must be unanimous of what said punishment, but it must be a punishment.
That is subjective.
I am the arbiter of what is reasonable.
But you are not judge and accused. That is not germane to the case.
You're saying that word, and I really don't think I know what it means.
No, I take back. You really amuse me. You know that.
You hear a little rumble in the room. As, like, it almost feels like the lights are dimming a little bit and putting the pack drake in a spotlight. The determinations of this... This is Angela. This is not him messing up the words. The findings of this particular adjudication are under my authority, and you are currently in my realm. If you do not owe me the proper authority and respect,
You will be held in contempt.
I was gonna say, you made him angry.
I have also the authority to enforce the terms of our contract, which include the rules of this adjudication.
You
Our
see,
contract.
the problem is with that we don't know what the contract is.
You've
How can
been
we
told of the
uphold-
matters.
Yes, and we don't recall what any of that information is.
What?
That is the nature of the veil of ignorance.
Has she ever heard of that?
Say, do I know what that means at all?
Anyone who wants to know can roll me an Arcana check.
Is that the name of our memoir?
18.
11.
12.
14.
14.
You said Arcana?
Yeah.
Yes, Arcana. Oh, Mouse, you get to roll with advantage.
Oh.
That's still an 11.
Okay, so
think I
15
figured out
for
what
Glenn.
this is.
Lionel, what did you get?
18 on the die.
21. Yezu,
12.
it's a 16. And Selene,
14 on the die.
14, 15. So, Lionel, you're the one who knows.
Okay.
The veil of ignorance is a, what would it be? I think it's it would be a divination spell or an enchantment spell. Maybe a mix
Okay.
of the two.
Mhm.
It specifically does what you're experiencing right now. It's a pretty high level spell, but
Okay.
it makes it so that you are unaware of your identity and the circumstances of your life.
Okay.
Selective amnesia.
Mm-hmm. How used is this spell? Like, I'm assuming it's high
very
level, it's not-
specialized. It's incredibly specialized. It is
Mhm.
It's used by inquisitors and justicars and judges, in the same way that like Zone of Truth would be used by people like that. It's in a similar vein. It's intended. It's mostly intended. You do have to pass the bar to use it. It is mostly intended to be something that is used for situations where you don't want to harm a person or you need them to be conscious, but you also don't want them to know what they can do if they're like, say, a prisoner or if they're a that's an example. It's not the only reason.
Okay. Is it, so in that case, is it common or uncommon in this kind of situation that we're in?
You don't know?
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
The lights kind of rise up a little bit. His voice gets a little more in his mouth instead of all over the room.
Sorry.
There's a final recess, if it's required.
Yes, please. We just want to confirm that we are all in agreement.
Very well. Recess. And he flies off, distinctly flying over the ball bearings, and you see his tail kick one of the ball bearings out of the way as he flies through the door, and the door closes again.
Good job.
Syl, you hear a giggle from the coat room.
So here's what I think. I think all of the riches should return to the original location. That's the punishment.
That punishes both parties. And
Certainly.
Okay, but hear me out. If we're the parties, I don't want to lose all my money.
He did say our contract. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, well,
But-
it seems that Yazoo's suggesting not all of our personal property, but the property that was stolen be returned to the original, to the third party, essentially. That
Okay.
way, the goods that are being fought over, both parties get punished for what happened, neither of them have access, neither of them get what they want, essentially.
Because here's the reality, right? If one party's land and property are stolen, what is to stop the party from going and stealing that back? And then we get into a whole situation all over again. Just return to a state from before, leave the original third party out of it, everything gets returned, and none of us know who's getting punished, so this way it's equal.
You know,
They're not
Can't
going to
argue.
like that, but I don't care.
can't. If we all agree upon it, then they can't argue with that. Technically.
Glenn does not look happy about any of that.
What would you suggest?
I think we should kill them all.
I mean,
That means us.
I'm just saying that if I think about it this way, what is something that is very important to you?
My
she's looking-
fingers.
Okay, so say your fingers were suddenly chopped off, you would want payback, correct? If your fingers were taken from you, you have rights to your fingers. You would want that person to pay.
Right.
Ultimately, the injustice is on the family that was stolen from, not from the two parties disagreeing upon whose loot is whose.
But from what I
Exactly.
remember, there was somebody who was wronged by that.
Yes.
There might, we could add a clause in there to say that, the person who was, related to the family doesn't get any of it either. Any of the things that were initially stolen, so it is not, favored towards them since their family is getting it back. Makes sense.
Then it said that they're related, but they're not either in contact or they've been outcast by their family in one way, so I doubt the family is going to want to give that person anything anyway, which is why they were stealing from them in the first place, I would assume.
We don't have time to unpack their daddy issues, but
You get what I'm saying, though.
I do.
Whew. That was very good.
Thank you.
And if they don't like our decision, we fight them.
She just pulls out a dagger and just starts twisting it.
Looks
in her
down
hand.
at the fucking sword and shield.
I was
next
just gonna
to
say, Glenn just casually pulls out the short sword and lays it on the table. I got
I was
it.
gonna say, with all your scrolls and stuff, a bomb. I don't know.
I was gonna say, do I have a bomb?
You don't have a bomb.
Dang it.
Question. The
Yeah.
spiky diamond thing that I have are those caltropes?
Yeah, they're definitely
Okay, cool. I
caltrops.
was just confirming.
Okay,
They're
so
caltrops.
suppose suggestion is that all parties all the loot and items taken by the first and second parties are returned to the third party, and nobody gets anything.
It's a wash, yes.
And are we placing blame on a specific party or just like...
So that doesn't answer the question on who is in the wrong, though, which is part of this whole ordeal.
Well, and the small gold creature did state that it was a breach of a contract, and I do believe Party 1 is who breached the contract, which is kind of what we agreed to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, given the nature of these two parties, that removing property or belongings would result in anything productive, because what is stopping Party 1 from going and stealing again? We know that they have that capability to do so. Maybe some community service.
I adore that.
Like they have to go play with like dogs at like a
They have to
like
go
animal
to
shelter.
community. No,
Session 2.
I've got a potentially compelling idea. They have to go do community service for the party that stole.
So what would that entail? Fetching them
Yard
coffee,
work
shining their
or-
shoes.
Yeah,
Getting their groceries.
yeah.
Seems like an awful punishment.
I mean,
They would be
It's
satisfied.
also- it is also humiliating. You have to go serve the people that you stole from.
Works for me,
In
I think.
England's head, she just thinks, "Am I screwing myself over with this?"
I'm not telling.
Well, if I was guilty,
Out
I
loud,
was
she just says,
guilty,
"Can you
I would-
tell me anything?" Like she says that out loud.
if I was guilty, I would much rather do some good than have all of my property taken away from me.
You know, or be dead. That part too.
That makes sense. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Are we just all going to pretend?
For half a second and then turn their attention back to Glenn.
Are we just gonna pretend that they didn't like exclaim out?
No, I needed to finish my thought first.
No, that makes sense. Do you need to talk about it? Are you the one with daddy issues?
No, I'm the one with the voice in my head issues.
So you should go see a cleric about that, I think.
I don't think it's that kind of thing.
That is what somebody who has voices in their head would say.
She already said that part. We already know that she has voices in her head.
I know,
The
but,
sand
like,
is starting to fall at the very bottom of the hourglass.
Can you stop that? Whoever you are, can you just like put that on pause? Do you have that ability?
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
But I am one of your monkeys. It seems you obviously enjoy talking to me. So
wow.
I enjoy you being upset just a little bit more.
That is wow.
Do I have any idea of the implication of that? Or is it just...
I'm one of
Or-
your monkeys? No idea. That's not enough information to know anything. You're just like,
I agree with Yesu.
"Okay."
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
yes.
We sound in a unanimous decision.
Okay.
Sure.
Welcome, Raiders. All right, so the hourglass trickles down the last few grains of sand, and the door opens. A few of the ball bearings get shoved aside again because they've started rolling around. And the drake just flies in, doesn't even fuck with the ground. So mid-flight. All right, you got your decisions made. Lands on the table.
Seems like it.
Very good. Who will be presenting?
Yeah, I was gonna say I.
Very well,
looked at
Miss
Yazoo.
Elderberry.
Oh, at Yazoo.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
I don't-
Mr.
certainly.
Yazoo.
We all look at Yazoo. Like,
We've decided that Party 1 is at fault for the breach of contract. However, we disagree with the punishment that was proposed, and we've decided instead that all initial belongings that were acquired from the third party, from the family, should be returned to them, and Party 1 should engage in some volunteering and community service efforts.
To be supervised by who?
We'll say Party 2.
Is this a unanimous decision?
Yes.
Yes.
Very well.
We should state the duration for the community service.
Important to be specific, yes?
a week.
A week.
It's good to me.
A week.
What about a
No.
week?
Versus
I would like to
permanent
counter-
property erasure.
I would
Yeah, I
like
was
to.
gonna say-
I think 1 week of community service.
I would like to counter with a month.
Yeah, I was going to suggest at least that.
Is that like in
During the
business
monetary
days?
value of the things that were stolen.
30 days. No, 28. I forgot how my calendar works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does
Agreed
that
upon by all
include-
part.
Does that include the weekends?
It includes
it includes
all
week.
28 days consecutively.
Okay.
It's agreed upon by all parties.
Okay.
All members of assemblage. That is. Everybody nods, everybody approves.
Agreed.
Very well. As his little claw hits the table, but echoes through the room. Adjudication has been made, punishment has, responsibility has been assigned to Party 1, punishment has been determined. End of... Sorry. Angela has a huge blank in her brain right now.
Mm-hmm.
End of exhibition. And you hear from the coat rack the little goblin kind of hop up to the table, and he's making furious notes on like a clipboard. And the empty tapestries across the room flutter from being empty to being emblems. You see one with sort of an alchemical bottle that's been smashed, another that looks almost like a wave of some kind of energy, one that's a very meticulous, almost celestial geometry inside of an hourglass shape, and another that is a moon with a almost pen-like, or not a moon. It looks like the tip of a pen, like a fountain pen, with wings attached to it. And the Drake nods, the hourglass disappears, and he casts. You see a fog around your vision lift. You hadn't even noticed it was there. And now it's so much clearer than what you saw before. And you all are sitting in the middle of your tournament exhibition, and your arbitration competition is done. You now remember everything as you are all students on your respective college teams, the best and brightest minds of your university schools, all brought together to make a judgment based on information that you are given. The goblin judge over at the coat rack is like still checking off boxes. And the Drake sort of shakes off. You all did quite well. Little bit of distraction But that is to be expected, a bit of shenanigans when you don't quite know what you're doing. Very well done, very well done all. And the goblin comes forward and rips off pages and hands them to each of you on your table, and you see that there are rubrics as he was judging you from the coat rack as you were all working, and there are various grades having to do with insightfulness of questions, able to keep an impartial observation of the facts, the ability to collect facts and turn them into provable observing, or rather productive observing notes. Note-taking is also one of them. Selene, you have you have a very good score in note-taking. And final conclusion, as well as ethics of decision-making. Yezu, you have a pretty good score in that. You all scored very well. It doesn't seem that this is so much a competition. Well, it is a competition. But Angela doesn't want to give a winner because you all did very, very well. And the main point of this story was your actual competition itself rather than who won. But you are all fine examples of your schools, and this was the sort of intercollegiate competition. There were several other students that were in the running. There were other exhibitions going on over the course of the day, but you all score very high and will definitely be making the cut for the intercollegiate team, as you will all be working together on future adjudications run by Professor Rawls, who is one of the he is the law professor at the school.
Bill jumps up and just like high fives Yezu.
Glenn is like looking around for the owner.
The owner of the what? You blanked out
voice.
again. I think this tends to happen when you back away from the microphone. I think your Discord isn't picking you up when you back away. You're looking around for the source of the voice?
Yes.
You see no source of the voice.
She very quietly, I'm sure this was amusing for you then.
Very much so. Shall we go on something more interesting, something other adventure? Or rather, I like to just bother you while you do. You're welcome.
She just shakes her head. She moves over to the others and just, good job, I guess.
Each of your families or friends show up after the fact as you leave the adjudication hall, and you go off and do your own things. You all are aware of each other in terms of school, but you're very much from different colleges, so.
Gonna party at our place.
I'm down.
Woo-hoo. It's just like people planning.
All collegiately sanctioned. Nothing bad will be happening. There will only be textbooks. Textbooks.
I'll bring
Continue.
the
Lane, you
antacids.
definitely have textbooks that have cut out holes.
Oh, 100%.
I'll bring the antacids in case anybody gets heartburn.
There you go. And that's where we will end this evening. I am very pleased.
That was good. That was fun. God, Devin.
I will.
This is just us reliving college, but in fantasy.
As I'm sure Lane will roll her eyes, I will have to thank my husband for the joke about, just make it moot court.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck, it's amazing.
This was Annie's idea.
The initial idea was
That is
mine.
a risk.
The pack dragon was my idea, but then I was
Yeah.
like, but then what is it? I was like, are they actually at fault, or what's the trial? Like, what's the thing? And he goes, oh, just make it like teen court. just make them doing it for school. Let's debate. All right, so let's go around and see if you guys, because of the nature of this particular scenario, it's probably this was a little harder, but I am curious what you all think you were in terms of ancestry, class and or subclass, maybe background, but that's up to you. Let's start with Alora.
I have a question before we
what's up?
get into. Are we including like the critical role classes?
Yes.
Okay.
Those were in the mix. So
awesome.
what do you think you were first?
I think I was a halfling arcane trickster rogue.
Not an arcane trickster, actually.
No.
But you were an inquisitive. It's just harder to you had very good insight skills. If you
Which I did not use.
Right, it's okay. But yes, you are a lightfoot halfling. That was a little joke I put in when you were ball bearing, you were light on your feet. Okay. Lane, what about you? What do you think you were? What do you think Lonel Bronze Dreamer was?
I'm not entirely sure. Like, I feel like the obvious.
He was a little hard to. He was a little hard to.
Yeah, I was gonna say
show.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, the obvious answer I feel like is paladin, but I don't have enough information about him to actually like really figure out what he was. Mm-hmm. So,
well, he was a human. I will confirm that. He was a purple knight, a purple dragon knight.
Oh, okay.
It's like, how many purple dragons can I put in this without showing my hand here? Yeah, it's a type of yeah. So you were a purple dragon knight.
Nice.
What about Mouse? Mouse, you were weird, and had the most interactivity with it. But let Mouse guess, and if Mouse doesn't get it, Alora, you can take a stab.
So
no pun intended.
Race, I was gonna say initially tiefling, but I don't. I was gonna say maybe like a drow or a dark elf.
No, you're a tiefling.
A tiefling.
Your initial thought was on.
But class,
what about class?
Class. I was initially gonna go with alchemist artificer.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That's fair.
I was wondering with the background, it might be a haunted one background with the voice in her.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not as familiar with Alora's question about the critical.
I think Alora might have it. Welcome, Raiders. We are in the guessing game portion of our game, where our players are trying to guess what their characters were all session, because they didn't know, and I have their character sheets in my hand.
But yeah, I mean, my final guess is going to be tiefling, alchemist artificer with the haunted one background.
Okay, tiefling is correct. The other two are not.
Okay.
Alora, would you like to take a stab?
I think it's tiefling, blood hunter, order of the profane soul, archfey.
Yeah. Fuck. Good job. So blood hunter, order of the profane soul is kind of warlock light. Mm-hmm. You make a pact with a creature that you would make a warlock pact with, and you get some little benefits from it. So yeah, you were a blood hunter. That's what the tattoos were.
Okay.
I was trying to keep it real light, not.
Yeah.
I realized I hadn't done any, like, with a blood hunter, you probably need to do some content warnings. So I was like, okay, how can I do this really, really easy? And the knife with all the blood grooves in it. That was the other hint. But yeah, and Devin, what about you? What do you think about Yezu?
So I think ancestry-wise, I'm gonna guess shifter.
Very good.
Yeah, so I think the tattoo and the irises and just the aesthetic.
Oh yeah, the like Witcher vibe he gives off.
Yeah. So that was my guess for ancestry. For class bard, I'm pretty confident in because I was able to use inspiration. But as a subclass, maybe eloquence or lore. I didn't use any subclass features, so I wouldn't really know. And then background, I'm not sure either. Maybe entertainer.
Okay. You were. Anybody want to take a guess of the subclass?
Valor
subclass-
Bard?
I was
No.
gonna say College of Whispers, maybe.
Whispers
Mouse
was
got
my
it.
thought as
It's a
well,
Whispers
based on
bard.
the way you described his
Oh.
song.
Yeah,
'cause that
yeah.
just kind of eerie.
Yeah, that was the idea. So yeah, you were a College of Whispers bard.
Gotcha.
Also, to me, also the fact was that he had the notebook of all like the secret stuff from all these people.
Oh.
And
Mhm.
like they're like that's one thing
Mhm.
because I've recently looked at a College of Whispers for a character and like them collecting secrets and like the dirt
They're
on
very
people.
They're very
Yeah.
fun bards to play.
Yeah, yeah. So, maybe not a surprise to anybody. You all had the same background. You were all Strixhaven students. You
There
just
you
had
go.
different schools. So what I'll do is I'll just tell you what schools you were. So I think Mouse might be the most obvious one. Mouse was Witherbloom, so very much about necromancy, botany, nature stuff, and alchemy. I think a little bit of
I
alchemy.
like decay.
Yeah, I like decay. Literally, growth and decay are the two traditional terms. Okay, Yezu was a Silver Quill college. It's the College of Eloquence. Its mages are masters of the magic of words.
You're like half right.
Lonel, Lane's character, was a Quandrix character. Encompasses the studies of patterns, fractals, and symmetries, mathematics, and sciences. And Alora, Selene was the Prismari, College of Elemental Arts, devoted to the study and practice of art intertwined with magic, spectacles of creativity, masterpieces of showy, over-the-top magic. And yes, you were in fact a inquisitive rogue. So you were all Strixhaven students. And that was really fun because I hadn't really played around with any of the Strixhaven stuff, and I went, oh shit, I need the feat. Because what's really cool about being a Strixhaven student as your background is that you all automatically get the Strixhaven feat, which gave you some spells, even if you didn't have access to spells. So each of you actually had a couple cantrips and a first level spell you could do every long rest. Just to
That's
share.
what threw me off.
Yeah, it was designed to. Selene had Firebolt and Prestidigitation, and then Comprehend Languages. That's what you cast before when you could touch the scroll and figure out what it said. Yezu has Thaumaturgy, Vicious Mockery, and Command. Is one of the spells he could have done. Lonel has Guidance, which is why I had you roll a d4. Mage Hand and Alarm.
Okay.
And Mouse, you had Druidcraft, Spare the Dying, and Detect Poison and Disease. Those were the ones you had. Those were never going to come into play.
I was like,
but I thought it was funny.
the only spell thing that I was actually trying to do, and like I said, Artificer. Is there something
Oh, you
I would
keep cutting
trying
out.
to do
It's
like
so
a
bad.
homunculus kind of
Oh,
situation?
you wanted to try to make something? Sure.
Yeah, I was like, is there any way I can?
Well, that's the thing. You also had, because you're the Blood Hunter, you have advantage on all the intelligence checks.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, like,
That was
you
another
were-
thing that tipped me off.
Yeah.
I saw the moment the light turned on, you
Same.
went, oh, shit. No, that was very, very good. So, just as a final bit for everybody, we had a couple questions before about who was doing the art, and I just want to put it out there again that
So good.
the character art that I've been using over the last couple of sessions is from Aaron Angiolini. Aaron is a really incredible artist who has she makes NPC portraits. They are absolutely beautiful. And if you purchase them from her store, you can buy them with streaming rights included. And that's what we're using. We're using her Year 1 collection, which is 145 character portraits. All different categories, different things like there's just a whole bunch of like PC ones, but then there's also gods and warlock patrons and furry friends. There's a whole little critters section. And also, I will say, Devin, your picture in particular is from the spooky collection.
Very spooky.
And so yeah, so they were just like really great ones. And what this particular one, I had a couple of different directions I might have gone with this game because I unintentionally picked 2 really preppy looking ones and 2 really edgy goth looking ones. And I went, okay, that's clearly what this has to be. And that's why the title of this episode is This Is Our Get Along Amnesia. I was really going to set it up so that you had to both be on like warring factions. I thought maybe like, you guys are going to work this out right now. None of you get to know any of your baggage, but you're gonna have to find some common ground. And I was thinking maybe that, but once we had the moot court concept, I was definitely gonna go in on that. So Aaron Angiolini is also doing a giveaway right now for winning the year 1 mega pack. So 145 NPC portraits for your D&D and TTRPGs. The deadline is November 23rd to submit, but all you have to do is follow and retweet, tag a friend for an extra chance to win, and comment with a fun fact about your TTRPG campaign or character. Those are very easy and those are very insightful ways of doing that. I'm sure anybody who really likes stuff would do that kind of thing anyway. So that's all you got to do to be submitted for the giveaway. And if you don't want to risk, or if you want to see if you win, her mega pack is also $65. It's on like really discount for how much you would pay for each of the packs that the art's for. So I highly recommend you check it out. They're beautiful. There's so much good art in there. I've been using it for the last couple of weeks, and I will continue to be using them, though I am still making all these characters in Hero Forge 2 because they make my heart happy. All right, so thank you all so much for joining us today. I need to put our, not the PC names, but I'm going to put the player names back up so that you're, like, if anybody wants to check anybody out, you can find them on Twitter and TikTok and stuff. So I just want to there we go. So thank you very much to Alora, Lane, Mouse, and Devin. You guys were amazing. I'm so happy that you could make it tonight. And I am Angela, your story guide for this evening, and please check us out here every week at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on We Are Nerdsmith's Twitch channel. And what else we got? Oh, you can follow us on Twitter to find out when we go live. If you liked what you watched tonight, please consider following us or supporting us on Patreon. It means the world to us, even small donations. Check out our new set of Die Hard dice, the Forge Fire set, with our partnership with Die Hard Dice. They're really, really pretty. And as well as Die Hard Dice entire holiday sale. If you use the discount link that we have there, you get 10% off your entire purchase. You can also use the code NERDSMITH to do that as well. We've our other sponsors are World Anvil and Hero Forge. Please check them out. If you don't already know them, you better get familiar with them because they're amazing. And well, I guess that's kind of it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
I think that's everything. We did it.
Yay.
So please, everybody. Oh, last thing. If you want to be on this show, you are welcome to volunteer. I am always welcoming new players. If you want to take a stab at trying to figure out who you are, you can reach out to me at the Discord server that we have. Nerdsmith's Discord server has a bunch of areas to talk about stuff, including TTRPG things, and you can just DM me on the Discord. I'm available, and if you'd like, I have some information that I need from you to have you on the stream, but if you have a camera and a microphone, you're welcome aboard. we had a couple of returning players tonight and a couple of new players tonight, but everybody gets back in the rotation, and I'm hoping to have people play as much as possible this season. So we're halfway through the season. We're gonna have 10 sessions, so there's still plenty of time to sign up, and I would love to hear from you. So, and also tell your friends.
Yes.
All right, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you so much to Raven and My Lady Saito and Magic Fish Radio for raiding tonight. Hitstart Brian, thank you for following us. Lane, thank you for resubscribing. 21 months, my goodness.
Yeah.
No.
It's so
Crazy.
fun. It's so fun to see people be here
You
for a while.
can't get rid of me. Me now.
I accidentally
all
hit
of us.
goodbye, and we're fine now. We're back. And lastly, thank you to our tippers. Retsev, thank you so much for your previous hint for Mouse and your hint or your tip tonight that gave everybody hints for their characters. Always appreciated. Thank you so much. Anyway, you can find us here, as I said, on Tuesday nights and on Monday nights, Discover RPG or Discover RPG, where we talk about TTRPGs and random shit. Me, Alora, and Franz. Or it might be Nerdsmith Pixel, because I'm kind of in a video game mood, so which is just going to be us goofing off watching someone play video games and pretending like we're talking about environmental design. We tried, but Stray just had cute cats and cute robots, and I couldn't pay attention.
Which is valid.
It is valid. So you can check that out. Same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, or just follow us on Twitter and we'll tell you when we go live. Usually. Anyway, you all have a very safe rest of your night and a great rest of your week. Make good choices. And above all, please do us all a favor here and be good to each other. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Till next time.